Welcome back to What Would You Ask podcast. My next guest, another one of those brave guys, goes in the kitchen with Mr. Ramsay. I don't get it, man. These good chefs knowing what they're doing. I know why they do it. $250,000 in a restaurant. I get it. But,
exactly why I did it.
but man, I'll tell you what, he is relentless. You know what the funny thing is, and Vinny, I'll do you a proper introduction for in a second. But here's the thing about him. You go on, Reward. You sit down, you break bread, you drink a little vino, you think everything's right, and the next day he rips your ass. I mean, it's just like, it doesn't matter. You're like high-fiving him, and he's a different guy. And then he gets back in there. You know what? Business is business. My next guest appeared in the Fox hit show Hell's Kitchen, as I said. Season 8. Came in 7th, which I have to be honest with you, I thought was a little low for him.
So did I. So did I.
And the other question, the other question about Vinny is, why hasn't he been back? I mean, you had to be asked, right? I mean, you had to be asked to come back. They have veterans versus rookies. They've had all-stars. Where have you been? I mean, you're a personality. You're a good chef. I mean, I don't get why people ask us too when we send them out.
The only logic that I can come up with from that is I have quite a bit of other chef friends that have been on other seasons. If you noticed, anybody that's ever been asked back has gotten a black jacket, and I got kicked off on black jacket night.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
yeah, you did. That's true.
I missed getting a black jacket, so I guess it's cost me the opportunity to go back for any other reasons.
The voice you hear is Vinny Acardi from season 8 of Hell's Kitchen.
8. That's correct.
We appreciate you being here on What Would You Ask podcast, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So take us through the journey a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you. I mean, you were cooking, you were doing your thing. All of a sudden you hear about this Hell's Kitchen fiasco and you say, hey, let me give it a shot, right? Tell us about it.
I was hooked from absolutely day one. Right when the first season started, I just moved into a new apartment and I hadn't had cable yet. So the show was on Channel 5. I had heard of Gordon Ramsay, from culinary school.
Right.
But I had never really seen him in action. So the Gordon Ramsay cooking show is coming on TV. Sure, I'll watch it. There's only 4 or 5 channels to choose from. 5 minutes into the first episode, I was 3 inches from the screen like this. I was enthralled with it. I just had to get on. I watched every episode probably like 3 times. I was enthralled with it from the minute I seen it. And I just kept looking online. Now, I had never done any sort of television or anything along those lines at all. And I just said, I got to figure out how to get on this. I checked Craigslist. I Googled it. I looked it up. And one day I just happened to stumble across the open casting call for Hell's Kitchen for the second season. The second season, not the 8th season. And I went to the casting call. I waited online. I don't know where you guys are out of, but I'm from New York.
Same. So, we're in Brooklyn right now.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah. So it was at I remember it was either at Sutton Place or Turtle Bay in the city.
Okay.
But I mean, it was a 4 or 5 hour line just to get in, and I was there like the crack of dawn. I met the Gans twins, who were very popular casting directors and got a lot of us from the East Coast, especially in like the tri-state area, on the show. And they liked me. We got along well. I ended up becoming a finalist, meaning like, I guess my tape was one of the ones selected to send in. And I was a finalist to get on the show, but I wasn't selected. I think I was a little rough around the edges. I treated it too much. It didn't seem, I wasn't thinking reality show. I was thinking culinary competition. Treat it like a job interview, be professional about it. Nobody wants to hear me be amusing or funny. Whereas that's exactly what they wanted.
Right.
So I tried out, I got close, then they rejected me. I didn't get on. As soon as I seen they were casting for the 3rd season, it was the same thing, except this time they already knew me and liked me. So as soon as I picked up the phone and told them I wanted to interview for it, they said, don't even worry about it. Come in, we'll put you right on camera, skip the whole line, and we'll send your tape in again. I got further in the process, but I didn't make the final cut to go to the LA cut. Then honestly, there was a season or 2 that I thought the show was starting to dip. I didn't like a season or 2. I didn't really try out for it. I didn't bother trying out for it. And a couple of seasons later, I lived in Las Vegas. I was living in Las Vegas at the time. I was watching an episode. On the bottom of the screen, they had the information about the casting call, which was 2 days later and 5 minutes from where I lived. So I felt like there was no reason not to go and try out. I called the Gans twins in New York, who cursed me up, down, left, right, and center for not calling them sooner. They called the they called the casting directors in LA, and they did the same thing. So it was at Mandalay Bay. Now you can just imagine how unbelievably packed Mandalay Bay would be, with everybody trying to get on the show. There must have been 5,000 people in there.
Oh my God.
They had a security guard escort me right up to the room, and they made me next online. How awesome is that?
Wow.
So that was great. The Gans twins told me, we're going to put you on the phone with the Las Vegas casting director. You have to make this lady piss her pants laughing inside of 2 minutes. Sure enough, I got that done. I went there. They escorted me with security right up to the camera interview. Apparently, I crushed the camera interview too, and they made me a finalist. So
Nice.
From there, they fly in LA, 50 of us for I think it was 2 nights. After the first night, they cut it down to 25. And then the 25 of us were finalists, and they basically went to each of our hometowns and met with us personally and invited us on the show from there.
That's a good story. That's a great story.
It really was. It really was. It was crazy.
So when you get there, we have a lot of viewers and listeners that send in questions. And once you guys are coming on, we announce it and we send it out and they send in questions. So you'll see a little bit of that as we go through the interview. But one of the consistent questions is, when you got there, being a fan, was it different than you thought it would be? Were the kitchens different? Was it bigger, smaller? Was it anything from a demographic standpoint that looked differently?
You want to know the truth? The answer is no. I went there not thinking, hey, this might be fun to be on TV, or it might get me something later. I went there because I was supremely confident that I would be one of the more talented chefs there, and I would be in the mix to win. I knew it was a TV show. I knew a third of the people were going to be there just to make jerks out of themselves. I knew a third of them were going to be okay. I knew there was going to be a couple of rising stars, but I really only looked around and seen 3-4 of us, 3-4 of us that I actually thought were legitimately capable of winning the thing.
Yeah.
So I actually treated it pretty seriously. I was fun and entertaining when I was there, when the time called for it. When we were working, I was all business.
Right.
So before I went on the show, I actually rewatched every season. I took notes. I made it a point to actually, some of the things that I knew that they always did on Hell's Kitchen, like scallops and Wellington, I actually ran them for specials where I was working.
Oh, nice.
just to get a little practice in.
Yeah.
So I did my homework. I did my mise en place. The chefs will appreciate that. And that was basically it. It's a different experience when you get there. And I always tell everybody that the hardest part is getting used to the cameras, physically the cameras. If you're not, like you and I having a nice conversation now over the radio, but when you have 17 cameras blaring light in your face, it throws you off. You have to get used to it. That was tough.
Yeah, I bet. So you get in there, you start going, you have to do your signature dish. Do they prepare you for that?
I don't know exactly how much of that I'm allowed to say, but it's been 10 years, so I'm not really worried about it. I'll just go ahead and tell you the truth. They tell you in advance, you're going to be preparing a signature dish, and you have to write out 3 signature dishes in detail with recipes, exactly what they are. But you don't know which of your 3 signature dishes you're going to do when you get there. They pick it for you. So when I got there, it just had my name on it. All of us just had a name on a tray. So that's sometimes when you see people where, they made a salad or they did something that didn't make much sense to do for or a soup or something that didn't make a lot of sense for their signature dish. It's because they probably wrote it out like a menu, like appetizer and meat, a fish. Like most people,
that's a good point. Yeah.
That's probably why. That would be my guess.
That's interesting because I have seen that. It's like Ramsay's like, so you had 40 minutes and you came back with soup? Like, what?
Or a salad, the nuts are toasted, that's happened.
So tell us, we got a lot of questions about you and Russell.
From who?
From
you get questions from
the people we survey. When we said that Vinny's going to be on the show, we send it out. Every one of you people. We've got 20, how many guys? 20 what? 28 chefs on so far, and we got another 20 scheduled. So
I got to get involved with you a little more. This seems like fun.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of a where are they now? People want to know what's going on with you, but they first want to know about.
Come back to that later because I actually, about a year, 6 months after I got off the show, I actually licensed a business, mailed myself like a certified letter and everything. I actually wrote out a concept for a show, like your radio show, called Road from Hell, meaning like we would follow the journey of the chefs after they left Hell's Kitchen and what they're up to now.
We have, as you will see, we have all this content. We're releasing it in October, but we've done Shark Tank. We've done, and it's all, if you think about where are they now, that's what it is, right? The entrepreneurs that either got a deal or didn't get a deal from Shark Tank. Where are they now? What are they doing? How's their business? Survivor.
Oh, you do Shark Tank too?
We've done Shark Tank. We've done Survivor. We've done Amazing Race. We've done.
You ever heard of Restaurant Startup? It's like the chef's version of Restaurant Startup.
Yeah.
I was the season 3 premiere.
Oh, no kidding.
I actually won.
Huh.
I won that show. Yeah.
I got to look into that.
Yeah.
So tell us about Russell. What was the problem with you two guys?
I think we both just had different ways of doing things. Russell was, I thought Russell and I were the two most talented on the show, and he's very capable. But there's more to being a chef than just being a good cook. Russell was a good cook. I don't think he had the whole package.
Got it.
You know?
Yeah.
He's very talented. He can cook you anything under the sun. He's a very book smart guy, believe it or not. He's got a memory like you wouldn't. He's got a memory like you wouldn't believe. But a chef is is much of a leader and part of the team as they are a good cook. And I think that was the part at that stage in the game that he was missing. I think that's the reason why he lost.
You also seem to develop a friendship with Trev. Nobody else did, but you seem to. The fans wanted to know, have you spoke to him since you've been off the show, I mean?
Yeah, we kept in touch for a number of years. We lost touch maybe a few years ago. But yeah, we kept in touch for quite a few years.
Now he's been back.
I keep in touch with a few of the guys.
Was he a black jacket your year? I don't know if he was.
Yes, he was.
Oh yeah, he was. He was fourth place.
He was.
I don't like that. I didn't know that. That's not good. You got to get people like you with personalities that can still cook. You put that combo together.
I honestly felt like, and what most people will tell you is, it almost kind of felt like they found a way to kick me off the show to make it some sort of wild and shocking and crazy episode and get them good ratings at the cost of, lifting $250,000 out of my back pocket.
Oof.
He doesn't need the money that bad. Let's make a cool episode out of it,
We had a bunch of people sending in, I would say at least 5 or 6 had sent in the thing that tell Vinny that you were there, in their opinion, you were a better cook than people that moved on ahead. Gail was one of them.
Gail was my home girl. I thought she was the most talented cook in the girls' kitchen.
Did you really?
Hands down. I still talk to Gail. As a matter of fact, we were just messaging on Facebook last night.
Even over, what's her name? Nona.
Nona, I'm friends with also. Gail just had I don't know. I guess they just come from different sides of the tracks. Gail is from my neck of the woods in New York. So, watching her work and watching the way she cooks, it's, we're like two peas in a pod. As a matter of fact, we did a few of our, when the show first aired, we did a few of the viewing parties together, which was fun. So I guess her and I just maybe click a little more than me and Nona would kitchen wise. But Nona's a sweetheart, all the talent in the world. She's doing fantastic herself.
I want to read you a quote that'll hopefully bring back memories if you remember saying this. You said, and this is verbatim. You said, people from Queens are very, if you cross me, be prepared to be humiliated. Yeah. And if you're going to step on my shoes, be prepared to have me bite your effing toes off. That sounds like every guy I went to high school with, by the way.
Me too.
Do you remember saying that?
Clear as day. And it's probably not the only time I've said that.
I love that quote.
I'm a very nice guy. You see, I got along with everyone on the show.
Yep.
But if you're going to step on my toes, be prepared to bite them off. I will go the distance with you.
I love it. So let's talk a little bit about the tank. These people are fans of Hell's Kitchen and they want to know a couple things. So number one is favorite or least favorite. We're talking about 10 years now with Vinny. So let's go easy on them. But favorite or least favorite challenge. Did you have a favorite challenge? You remember the challenge?
My favorite challenge was the sushi challenge, mainly because the one prize, I didn't care about any of the prizes or awards or anything like that. The only prize that I really, really wanted was the helicopter ride. I really wanted to try a helicopter ride.
Got it. Okay.
And the sushi, and when we won the sushi challenge, a helicopter ride was part of the reward. So that was the one that I really wanted to win. I also ended up winning it for my team.
Yes, you did.
Which made it a little extra sweeter, I guess.
I have to tell you, I was like you. I was a fan early on. I was pulling for the hell was his name? The guy in season 1 that lost to Michael from Jersey.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Ralph.
Ralph, yeah, I was pulling for
Ralph.
Ralph.
He's down in Florida. Ralph's got 3 restaurants in Florida. He's a great dude. 2 or 3 restaurants.
I wanted
great
him
dude.
to win. He's going to be on the show too next week.
Great dude. Say hello for me.
I will do that. I absolutely will do that. But so I wanted to, 2 things I liked from a challenge standpoint. One was the taste test. I always thought that was cool to have you guys, and people tell me some people had like they ate something before, but the show gave it to them. And some people said they gave us water, and the water was flavored, and then we went and did it. Or they said they did some kind of challenge before. Oh, one who was I talking to the other day? Brian Merrill from season 10 said they did with Joey Chestnut. They did a chicken wing contest eating, and they were spicy. And then right when they were done, they went and did so their palate was messed up. And
so
anyway,
did we actually.
Did you really?
Well, not quite chicken wing challenge, but that's what I had. Well, basically what he does is the whole concept is to test your palate. So he basically lays out a whole bunch of garbage food, sushi from a gas station, a sandwich from a pre-made sandwich from a 7-Eleven. But there was one item that he actually made, which happened to be buffalo wings, which were a little spicy.
Ah, that's right.
So things like that, acid and heat, they do affect your palate a little bit. So it's a good way to throw you off before you can have a little taste test.
The other one that really gets the viewers and listeners, they don't understand how you chefs, and I attested to you. This shows you that this is really a craft, and these guys are really talented, and women are really talented. It's the one where Ramsay makes a dish, and you guys have to watch him, and then he leaves the dish there, and then I don't even know if you don't watch him. He just shows you a dish, and you taste it. I don't know if they had this for you, but then you have to go and make it. You recreate what you saw, and it just seems like, I mean, people are going, well, there's a sweetness in that sauce, and I'm not sure what it is. And then they try different, but you have to have all the ingredients. Did you have that as one of your challenges?
That was a black jacket challenge. They probably did that like the week after I got kicked off, or the week after that. But that's actually a thing that chefs do. I've done that before with previous employers. I've done that with my staff myself.
It's amazing.
So that's a great way of developing a cook's palate into a chef.
Excellent. So I want to, we have a number of questions about your favorite reward. You mentioned helicopter was definitely one. Well, you said the sushi got you to that one. I also know that one guy was saying when he found out he's going on a shopping spree, you were pretty darn excited about, I love to shop. I love to shop. You were into that.
I did. Now I really enjoyed that.
Where did you go shopping? I don't remember. You went to a clothing store. No, what was it?
No, it was Sur La Table.
Oh, that's right.
It's like a what do you call it? It's like a Williams Sonoma type of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's
stuff
cool.
like that. I love. Yeah. So I went and I said, all right. I thought of it the opposite way. The problem is they only give you 15 minutes to shop, or 8. It was some sort of weird amount of time, and there's a million little things. So
and did they tell you how much money, or did you just grab stuff?
Yeah, we had a budget that we were allowed to go up to. So I thought of it the opposite way. I don't care. I'll go over budget. I'd rather the cashier tell me that I have to get rid of 4 or 5 things than come up $200 short. What's the point of that?
So tell us about Ramsay. You get to work with him. He's an icon in the industry. I've heard all across gamut of stuff. I think the majority. Well, let me ask you this first. What do you think about Gordon Ramsay? What's your impressions of him?
Well, Gordon Ramsay was literally answers to test questions when I was in culinary school. So I'm familiar with him from, when I'm 18, 19 years old. We were widely educated on Gordon Ramsay. He's a very popular figure in our world. Youngest chef to get 3 Michelin stars, only one in London. I knew that story. So when I heard that he was coming out with a cooking show, like I said, it piqued my interest, and I knew who he was. So, I mean, he's the real deal. There's not a whole lot of people as talented or as gifted as him. He has the whole package. He really is. I don't know how he manages to do all of the different things he does. He's got his hands in everything.
He does.
And he still maintains a very high level of quality at more places than most of us would be able to do.
It's amazing. His
name carries an unbelievable amount of weight. I mean, you talk about a guy who, he had 2 Michelin stars before he was 30.
Yeah, that's amazing. It really is. I ask people, when do you get a chance to see him cook at all while you're there? And they say it's not. They say they do. Yeah, a little, but a lot of chefs really notice different things. Brian Merrill, as I mentioned, I interviewed yesterday. He said the guy doesn't waste any movement, and I was like, what? Like, I was thinking that, I didn't say that, but he's like, he doesn't do he's not moving one direction. He knows his steps and he was saying that he just doesn't waste any movement. It's all calculated, and his positioning and stuff. And I was like, well, and he goes, oh, he's a great chef. Don't worry about that. But I also asked him, would you be able to work for a guy that is that kind of crazy on the thing? And he said, and many have said that, I would doubt that he is that way every day, that we're on a TV show here. Would you agree with that?
Well, the whole not wasting motion, that's something that's drilled into our head literally since day one in culinary school.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mise en place. Kitchens are small. There's not enough staff. We're understaffed. We're way too busy. We don't have time to waste time. You got to do things right the first way.
I'm glad you explained that.
If this goes here, we put it here every time. I put it here, you put it here, he puts it there. That's where it goes, and we do it this way all the time. This is why he has 3 Michelin stars. It's a matter of consistency. I bet you most of his top guys could walk in and make the exact same dish the way he did, the exact same way, because that's how we are trained.
Got it.
It's important.
Yeah. His standards are it's unbelievable. How many dishes that he pushes back. And I also understand, every chef has said, the question is, how could you overcook or undercook a fish so many times? Like, you guys don't give.
That's where the show comes in.
Right. That's what everybody's saying.
That's where the show comes in.
Right.
I'm not going to say it's set up for you to fail, but they know how to throw your attention off if need be. If they want you to have a bad half an hour, you're going to have a bad half an hour. Right. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah. People have also mentioned there's cameras everywhere in the kitchen, and Ramsay has an earpiece, which can mean, hey, take a look over there what Vinny's doing, or take a look over here what somebody else is doing while things are happening.
Of course. We're all mic'd up too, so they can hear every word we say.
Not to talk about Brian again, but Brian mentioned that this was pretty funny. He said lights are on all the time because the sound is on, even when we're in our dorm. And he said it's like the lights go out when the last person goes to bed. Did you experience that too?
Yes, that's exactly the way it was. They'll make an announcement. Lights are going off. No talking. You're not allowed to talk when the cameras are off because they don't want to miss anything.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. So anything funny, or this is from Carol from Pittsburgh, wants to know anything funny or interesting, any funny or interesting moments that ended on the edit room floor, meaning didn't get on TV. It's 10 years ago, folks. What do you want him to do? He's just jumped on the thing. He's busy.
You have to remember, we record for 2 11, 12-hour days to give you a 45-minute episode. Yeah. So there's a lot that gets edited.
Yeah.
Like I said, you think about that. Monday and Tuesday we record for 12 hours. You have 45 minutes that you're watching. So there's a ton that gets edited. And don't get me wrong, you throw 15 chefs, 16 chefs in the same apartment. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna manage to have some fun. Yeah. Chefs are fun people.
What about I did not realize in this that you guys are in Los Angeles for 5 weeks, 6 weeks to do this, right? At one time. Yeah. And you're filming a large you're working a lot, like you just said, right?
Yes.
Give us a little bit about what you remember about the schedule. I
remember the schedule. For the first few weeks, we were at Hell's Kitchen every day. Meaning Hell's Kitchen is on the ground floor where the restaurant is, and above it is the apartments where we live. Once you get to a certain stage in the game, after the first, I don't remember how many, but after, let's say 4 or 5 people are eliminated, they start giving you like a real Sunday off, where you're there from Monday to Saturday, and then they bring you to a hotel Saturday night, and you get to just sleep and relax in a hotel on Sunday all day. They'll give you mail from your family if there's anything major or urgent. Because remember, we can't see our mail. Nobody has a phone. They take your cash. That was the first time since I'm Italian. I probably, since I'm 4 years old, I can't remember the last time I went 6 weeks without having $1 in my pocket. Very weird feeling. I had more cigarettes on me than I did cash.
That's right. The voice you're hearing.
It. It's basically every other day. One day is the like the challenge, punishment, and reward. Then the next day is prep and dinner service. It looks like, which makes one episode.
Jeez. That's Vinny, season 8. You're listening to him. We're going to continue the conversation. Just want to remind you guys, if you have a chef that you want to see on What Would You Ask podcast, send it to us through our website, whatwouldyouthe letter u ask.com,